TP3 live from the lab, Sports on the Hill podcast, TruRadio Network, streaming to you live on YouTube, live on Twitter, and live on Blog Talk Radio. We're having some technical difficulties on Facebook Live tonight, so I'm just going to go ahead and share that YouTube feed straight to the Facebook page so you can check it out on there, the folks that want to tune in. You can always call in to the TruRadio Network hotline at 347-884-9299. We got a great Redskins themed show for you. You know, we had the 2020 draft this past weekend. You seen some Facebook Live that I had with Big Herb. We did a pop-up show after the Trent Williams trade. I uploaded that to the YouTube channel and with Facebook Live, so y'all can check that out. We talked about the free agents about a month ago. We're going to break down the draft. We're going to break down the undrafted free agents. We're going to break down the trade news with Trent Williams. We got DujunneaB calling in a little while. You know, he has all the NCAA college insight. So we're going to break down these players one by one and get his take. I've been watching film all day on all of these players. Well, not all of them. Well, yeah, I did check on all of them. There's not a lot of tape on some of the undrafted guys, but I checked them out too. So we definitely going to break all of that down and get to the nitty-gritty of this squad and what we perceive is going to happen with this team going forward. Today, I believe they started the virtual OTAs and, you know, training camp stuff for the young guys. Chase Young had his Zoom conference with all the local media and everything. I didn't get a chance to check out the whole interview, but it was some interesting things in there. We're definitely going to talk about that also. But before we get into that, as always, I have to thank you, the fans, the listeners, the supporters, the folks that share our posts, the folks that comment, the folks that's there with us week in and week out, even going through this crucial time right now. Appreciate y'all as always. Go check out the website, SportsOTHP.com, for all of the shows, all of the blogs, everything that we do is on there. Make sure you go check out my man, DujunneaB, not Bland21, on Twitter and IG, DujunneaB on Facebook. Always bringing you the best insight, knowledge, and make sure you check out the breakdown with his podcast and everything that he covers also. But I'm going to go ahead and bring him in since we talking about all the great things that he does. Might as well go ahead and bring him in so he can talk about it himself. What's going on, bro? How you doing today, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Enjoying to have some football stuff to talk about. And, you know, the draft was pretty fun being virtual and all. So doing well, though, man.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. I'm checking out some of my technical difficulties. And like they're getting a little bit more technical over here. But let's go ahead and talk about this draft that just went down. Let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. Go ahead and get it started and get it out the way. Trent Williams being traded to the 49ers for a 5th-round pick and a 3rd-round pick in next year's draft. The 5th-round pick, the Redskins actually selected a center, which we'll break down more deeper into the show we get. But there's been a lot of complaints from some fans and some ex-players and some folks complaining about the trade value that they got for Trent. I mean, my opinion is everyone knew he wanted to be traded because he went into the media and said what he said, that he didn't want to play for the squad. The rumored 2 first-round picks that Cleveland supposedly offered last year, which we confirmed was BS, even though folks are still holding on to that was never going to happen. To get a 5th and a 3rd in the draft and a talent-heavy draft for a player that doesn't want to be there anymore, you get $12 million off the books, and you can move forward. I say it's a win-win. What do you say, Dujunne, while I try to work on some of these technical difficulties over here?
It's a win for both parties. And I had this discussion on a show before the draft, and I stand by it. You know, we all know what can you start having the sharks that are circling in the water waiting for blood to spill out so they can attack and see there's a wounded animal in the media all the time. And if this doesn't get done and he's still hanging around here, this turns into a negative story, and you have to hear about it for months on end, especially if he's going to come back. And I said there's no way that he can come back and play. And it's not necessarily because he doesn't have the character to not, be able to be a professional and all of that. But the things that were said, granted, the regime that is here had nothing to do with those things. But the constant banter, how things were handled, as far as, he seemed to be content on leaving, and I don't blame him for that. The value that they got, I'm not going to argue with it. I thought it was a pretty model and respectable thing for the Redskins to allow him to go where he would want to go, and give him an opportunity. I mean, people can say what they want, but it's funny how, people can completely turn on a person after they've been here for so long and given so much to a franchise. I think it's the way that it's no matter what has transpired, I think it's the way you do business. I'm not going to discuss the last year's crap with the first round picks and all of that. I think I was pretty clear on the fact that if they wanted to do it, they should have done it when Houston was desperate. They got the dumbest GM and coach in the league. And you see what he's done over the last two seasons, two off seasons. So they had an opportunity. That was no longer going to be on the table after you passed that up. Everything after that was probably wishful thinking to get a 2, and what they got was respectable. And I think at this point, it's gone on this long. It's better to get what they got than to allow this guy to walk and get nothing, which we have seen here on occasion. So it's a win-win for both, and we get to move on and see what's going to happen with the future. And good luck to Trent, man. He's been a staple here in Washington. He's been a model citizen. None of us are really behind the closed doors to find out exactly the 100% truth on where all of this lies. It's unfortunate it had to end this way, but life goes on, man. This is not 1991 or 1990 where this type of free agency doesn't exist, and players don't have the kind of, I wouldn't say leverage, but they have the ability to move. So it's unfortunate that you like to see him stay in his career here, but he'll probably retire a Redskins and go into Hall of Fame and such. But it's the right thing to do, and I'm happy that it got done. I felt like it needed to keep this positive streak of positive media and the organization doing the right thing so far this off season. And it's fan building and organizational building as well. So I'm okay with it. I know fans aren't, but can't please everybody.
No doubt, no doubt. We know with this fan base, you definitely can't please everybody. But I found it interesting the way the whole thing went down. That a lot of folks don't know with the new CBA that there is no such thing as holding out for players now. That if you don't show up and you're under contract, your contract doesn't expire the next year; it rolls over. So the Redskins pretty much had him in a position where either they were going to trade him for the value that they wanted, or his career was over because you said you weren't going to play for the team again. You still have a year left on your contract. You don't play, you don't get a chance to go sign another contract. So the fact that they were able to get something out of this whole debacle is great. I'm glad it's over. Like I said, you got a new regime. They got a new medical staff, new mentality. He wasn't going to be happy here. He wanted to go elsewhere. That's fine. A lot of folks think I'm bitter or mad at him. Nah, I respect everything that he did. I loved when he played here. But the fact that, you went in the media and said what you said, and I'm on the record about how I feel about the situation. I'm not going to rehash it right now. Let's move forward, talk about better things since we finally got that saga out of, hopefully, the media headlines for a while now and won't have to hear about it again. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and run down the draft picks real quick before we break them down and the undrafted free agents. Then we're going to go down each one. And I'm going to let you get your info and insight on them. Like I said, I was watching tape all day today on all of these players just to get an idea of what they can do because, I don't watch college. But I'm definitely going to be eager to hear what you have to say. All right, first round pick number 2, we all know Chase Young, defensive end out of Ohio State, 6'5", 264, and still growing. That was one of the things he talked about in his presser today, that he was talking about his dad when he was in college. When he graduated, he was like 6'2", and he ended up being like 6'10". He's 6'5" now, and he expects to grow some more. I expect that also. He's still a young man. He still got some growing to do, and that man is going to be a physical specimen. Third round pick. This is a guy that I've been watching tape on, and I really like him. Antonio Gibson out of Memphis. I list him as a running back, wide receiver, kick returner. Might as well say like a flanker or something like that. He's 6 foot, 228 with great speed and moves. Fourth round pick, tackle. I'm gonna have to get your help on this one. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. I'm gonna go ahead and let you take a crack at it. The F from out of LSU, 6'4", 321. Go ahead, DujunneaB. What's his name, man? I always got to go to you first.
I think it's Gady-Golden.
Gady. All right, cool. That's the first time I'd heard it pronounced. I'm gonna make sure I get it right going forward. Gady-Golden, LSU, as I said, 6'4", 321 tackle. We spoke about it on Hertz House pop-up show about the trade that they were talking about, possibly making him a guard. Also, I don't know. I'll get your take on that, DujunneaB. Also, I was watching tape on him at tackle. He looked pretty good. Looked like he had good footwork and good technique. You know, still room to grow, but he looked pretty good at tackle. Fourth round, this is what they're calling a steal for the Redskins, a wide receiver out of Liberty, Antonio Gady-Golden, 6'4", 223. Yeah, I'm definitely want to talk about him when we break down these players. The fifth round pick, as I mentioned, for the trade that they got for Trent Williams, they got the center, Keith Ishmael out of San Diego State, 6'3", 309. The fifth round, next pick was through the Quentin Dunbar trade, number 162. I'm going to get you to pronounce his first name, too. I know you probably can better than I can. Linebacker from Michigan, 5'11", 224. And take it away, DujunneaB. What's his first name?
Hudson.
Kaliki. Where are some of these names coming from, man? I got to start sounding these joints out like Hooked on Phonics or something. But I was definitely looking at tape on him. He's definitely an interesting prospect also. They had no sixth-round pick. Seventh-round pick, number 216, a safety, Kareem Curl out of Arkansas, listed at 6'1", 206. They have him listed as strong safety, but I saw him doing a lot of coverage and being back in coverage a lot. So I'm definitely going to get your take on that because we all know how bad we need a free safety on this squad. And the last pick,
I got something for you on that.
I knew you would, especially being the SEC, boy. I knew you would. And the last pick for the Redskins, which was they acquired this pick in the Case Keenum trade, number 229, James Smith Williams, defensive end out of NC State, 6'4", 265. Injury concerns there, but definitely we'll talk about that more. They signed 4 undrafted free agents. We all heard right after the draft that they signed Thaddeus Moss, Randy Moss's son, out of LSU, a tight end, which a lot of Redskins fans were upset that he didn't draft the tight end in this draft, but they picked him up right after the draft. They also signed the quarterback out of Colorado, Steven Montez. They also signed 2 wide receivers, one of them out of Temple, Isaiah Wright, and the other out of Missouri, Jonathan Johnson. And I was looking at some tape on them. Like I said, it's not a lot of tape, but they look impressive. It looked like the offensive weapons that Rivera decided to pick up are all game breakers, dynamic players that can make people miss in space and can line up in multiple positions. So I'm really interested to see how this offense is going to fall out. But before we break down all these players one by one, DujunneaB, what is your initial draft grade on this draft for the Redskins? We saw Mel Kiper came out and gave them a C. I haven't really given my grade as I've been watching tape all day. Say that again.
I don't care about Mel Kiper, and I'm strong about that. The guy needs to retire. That's all I'm going to say. Mel Kiper can watch the guy.
I mean, my thing is, if he was that good, he would be on the NFL squad. I mean, if he was that good, he would be on the NFL squad. That's my point.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you give a grade of this draft for the Redskins?
I'm struggling here, and I'm just going to go ahead and give them a B+ today. I think they did an excellent job. You talk about the homework that they did. It's clear they did very good homework. game that was an undrafted. They did their homework, man, and they picked guys. They got guys that they felt that can help, that are versatile. And I think that's something you can take away from this draft as well, is the versatility with these guys. And like I said, I won't get too much in it because we're going to break down each one. But I like what they did. I really do. And I think it again shows that once again they continue to stack and they continue to get talent. Now you have some really nice offensive pieces that are weapons. Something that you see teams like the Chiefs have weapons, the Eagles have weapons. You can pin these guys and keep pinning guys to be whatever you want them and to be, you want wide receivers. But in this game, the way it's coming down to, you need weapons. You need guys that you can line up and create mismatches. It's about creativity on offense. It's about, using the whole entire spectrum. It's about using these guys and their athletic ability, and I think they should be commended for what they've done here. A lot of it was best available, but then a lot of it is just doing your homework and understanding what you have out there on the board and how it relates, and then getting your guy. And I think they should be commended.
I agree. Not getting the corner. I still say we're decent in secondary, but I would like to see him with the cornerback supposed to be in such a deep position. I'd like to see him pick up one in the undrafted free agents or something like that. But we're still going to have cuts later on. And with Trent Williams' money being off the cap, the team has, I think they're the second most amount of money under the cap to sign other players and do whatever needs to be done. But, like I say, from the initial looking at this draft before we go into it in detail, it looks like a pretty decent draft to me. You have a coach now that knows how to develop talent, that knows how to strategize, and knows how to game plan. So everything else is off the board. I've been trying to drill this into some of the Redskins fans' heads that they keep on linking what's going on now to the Jay Gruden era. And now you have a coach that's been there, done that, taking the team from 2-14 to the Super Bowl, even though Carolina didn't win it. But the fact that you saw him develop a team from scratch and make it work and find a way to win and be successful, you have to have some optimism and have to give a little bit of credence that the team is going to be better than it was last year. You can't automatically right now be so down on the team, they suck, the wide receivers this, they don't have a tight end. We don't know what this team has because we have a new coach with a new mindset, new game plan, and we don't know what we have, but already you have folks saying that the team is going to suck. That really boggles my mind, man.
Well, look, I'll be the first to tell you, and I really don't care what anybody thinks. I'm not trying to be rude here, but sometimes fans are fans for a reason. They get in their emotions a lot. And last year, with a competent coach, I can't sit here and listen to media pundits talk about the fact that they don't have the wide receiver core just isn't that good. Have you done your homework? They have talent on this team. They have talent on this team, and they could have won more games if, or at least looked more respectable on offense with a game plan and the understanding of how to use people. But we got people that we like, and we have favoritism, and we have all this other nonsense that played into that. So I really am not severely down on the team like fans are, and I get it. It's been a rough ticket over the last several years. You think you got something, and the next thing you know, the bottom falls out. But I really think people are just overly negative on a lot of things. There are a lot of good pieces here, and like I said earlier, you added weapons now. And now you have a coaching staff that will do their job in coaching these guys up. That's the deal. That's the deal with anything. I can go out here and get a 43 or 56 or whatever Deion Sanders, but if I can't coach these guys up, then they're just a bunch of really good athletic people out there on the field. You got to be able to put it all together. nothing wrong with that. But I think really you should curb the negativity when it comes to, some of the things going on with the team. But, we'll get into these things and we'll break them down and hopefully give fans a little bit more insight on things and what these guys can do.
All right, let's go ahead and start breaking these players down and get your opinion on them and your insight. As I mentioned, Chase Young, 6'5", 264. My opinion, I've said it all over and over again. He's explosive. He has a great motor. He doesn't give up on the play. He's good against the run. His ceiling is unimaginable because he's been compared to Julius Peppers. Like I said, I haven't watched all of his college, but I've been watching some tape on him, and to me, I don't see how you couldn't draft this kid with the front that they already have, and getting pressure on the quarterback is going to be key, especially as you mentioned with everybody else in the NFC East boosting their wide receiver core, getting more speed on offense. My thing is you can't throw the ball if your quarterback can't get the ball away. So if you get enough pressure, you can negate those speedy wide receivers when you got to keep on throwing quick, and if your defense is tackling sure, it's going to amount to nothing. What is your assessment of this young man that's coming back home to play?
Generational talent. Haven't seen the likes of it since, Sean Taylor. You mentioned his quickness, but I think one thing I will, talk about is, my colleague Frida Parks was involved in the conference today, and to listen to him talk about talking about things like he's got to improve his first step and this and that, and this guy is just incredible with the talent that he's bringing to this team already, and he's saying he needs to improve. It's phenomenal. The amount of time he spends in the film study and things of that nature are important, and that's going to be a huge deal. And then you look at his ability to. You talk about studying these offensive linemen to understand their tendencies and what they like to do, so that he can counter off of that. This guy is super smart, and it's going to really elevate the already great talent that Redskins front seven has at their disposal already because of the nice, solid draft that they've done over the last couple of years here. So I'm super excited to see how Jack Del Rio uses him. We talked about it ad nauseum during the Gruden era about moving up these pieces like a Ryan Kerrigan. You had Montez Sweat last year, moving those guys around to try to throw guys off, not allow people to key in on where he's going to line up. I think you'll see a little bit of that. I think you'll see some creativity with that front seven, what they can do, the depth they have, and man, what more can you say? I mean, they landed a stud, and it's going to make a huge difference with all the other talented guys that they have on that defense.
I totally agree. You know how much I love defense, so I can't wait to see what these all these young studs can do. I forgot to mention that speaking of defensive line, Jonathan Allen, the team exercised the 5th-year option on his rookie contract, so he'll be. I didn't see the numbers, didn't get a chance to look them up, but normally if you don't know, the first-round draft picks are signed for a 4-year contract with the team with a 5th-year option, just in case they would exercise it to get them another year, basically on the cheap before they're going to get their payday. So that's always a good sign to see them extending him out. We mentioned previous show about Ryan Kerrigan. He's on the last year of his deal. Word is he does want to stay a Redskin his whole career, so he's looking to take a hometown discount. So the defense is young, has talent, just going to need some time to develop. And with Jack Del Rio, pushing the buttons, he's done it before. I don't have no problem with thinking that he can't do it again. The 3rd-round pick, the Redskins didn't have a 2nd-round pick. So 3rd-round pick, this is a kid out of Memphis, Antonio Gibson, 6 feet, 228, wide receiver, running back, kick returner, game-breaking speed, can score from anywhere on the field, dynamic in the special teams game, good hands, can make people miss an open space, shifty, and he has a second gear that he get an open field, it's over. So we heard Rivera mention that he is in the mode of envision him in the mode of Christian McCaffrey, of how they use him in Carolina. So I'm all I got to say is Darius injury prone Geis and Bryce Love. This is y'all wake up call, even though it's a tricky situation for training camp with this COVID-19 situation. This is a wake up call to y'all two guys. Y'all need to get healthy and get on the field because this kid is fast and he's big. I mean, I saw him break so many tackles. And folks looked like they had him wrapped up. He keep his feet moving, legs pumping, and next thing you know, boom, he's in open space and then he's gone. What is your assessment of this Antonio Gibson, and what do you like or dislike about this pick?
I don't dislike anything about it. I had the opportunity to see him at the Senior Bowl. He's obviously stands out because of his height, but the things that you really notice is his ability to go up and get the football. He makes some really nice catches as well. He had a corner catch in the end zone late. I believe it was like third quarter in the Senior Bowl. I can't remember who the quarterback was, but it was on a rollout. Kind of threw it off his foot, kind of on the run, right in the corner of the end zone. He made a very clean catch over the shoulder. Was able to understand where he needs to be to make that happen. I think he does a decent job of running routes, but the main thing that he does really well is his ability to find the soft spots in his zone. And he's basically a quarterback's dream when it comes to that. He plays through contact very well. He can ward that off with physical corners out there. And the guy can snag it, man. He's got hands. And I really like that. I want to see him late. I want to see him, work on some of the things such as, I know a lot of people talk about his acceleration, and I don't have a problem with that because a lot of people don't have a lot of track speed, but they got game speed, and it's like, oh, dude ain't that fast on the track, but all of a sudden put him in some pads and a helmet, and all of a sudden he's got track speed. The dude's fast enough to make plays, and he's going to be a pretty cool addition to what they have, and it puts some pressure. I mean, again, it's about competition, guys. Like, nobody on this roster is penciled in. We gotta generate competition. Competition breeds better. I don't know if anybody has been watching The Last Dance, but I think that's enough in itself to show that when you have someone, whether it's a player or a coach, that is going to hold people accountable, it changes the dynamic. That's what winning programs do. And I think having him here gives them another avenue, gives them a big, tall wide receiver that they can use not just for red zone and big play, go up and get the ball type of abilities, but he definitely brings some really much needed skills to go along with guys like Terry McLaurin, Harmon, the Sims boys. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. They got a lot of competition, so he definitely brings something really, really nice that they haven't had in a while here in Washington.
No doubt. I'm anxious to see what this kid can do once he gets on the field, especially with this offense and how different it's going to be. Actually seeing a coach stick with the run and actually set up his plays and actually have strategy with his game plan and the ability to adjust in game. I mean, I'm just happy to be able to say we have a coach that can do those things because we've had one for the last 6 years that could do none of those things. So I'm excited just off the break. Next pick, 4th round pick. I forgot his name already. Sadiq. Yeah, Sadiq Charles, tackle out of LSU, 6'4", 321. I looked at a little bit of tape of him today. Good footwork, uses decent technique, still can, improve, as I mentioned. He has long arms and a good base. He keeps his feet moving. You see some tackles, but especially at this size, feet get in quicksand when they're doing pass blocking. But he looked very good in pass blocking. He looked quality in a few running plays that I saw in his highlight reel. But like I mentioned, we talked Big Hurt on Saturday during the draft. They were discussing possibly making him the guard, dealing with the fact of Sheriff trying to re-sign and Wes Martin not living up to the potential they thought he had. I'm not. I mean, I like him at tackle. We need a left tackle. No time like the president to get him out there, but they know better than I do, and it's still just a rumor at this point. But what do you take away from Sadiq Charles, DujunneaB?
First, I want to know who thinks that Wes Martin didn't play well.
Well, from when I talked to her, some of the folks that he speaks to at the park said that he hasn't excelled the way that they thought he would when Eric Flowers was able to take over the left guard spot. That's why they got him, because they wanted Wes to play the left, but they didn't feel like he was, excelling and progressing at the rate that he should be.
Okay. I don't feel that way, but all right.
Well, that's what we love having different opinions on the show, especially from all of our experts, man. So go ahead and tell us what's on your mind.
I kind of wrote an article on him coming out. I mean, it wasn't great earlier in the season, but when he spot played, I thought he played well. He didn't have a whole lot of opportunities. Again, there's not much I can trust from a guy in Gruden that really didn't do a whole lot with, if it wasn't a guy that he didn't want to pick, then it seems like it wasn't that much, that much involvement with that particular player. And I don't know that with West. I know he didn't have that many opportunities, but I felt when he got out there, he did make plays and did enough. But I mean, you can't knock the fact that I think Flowers moving inside was better for him. He was already a proven player. I know he wasn't great at tackle, but that doesn't take away from his abilities. And he worked hard. And of course, he's going to be ahead of Wes Martin. The guy was a rookie. What do you expect? On a team that doesn't really know how to, apparently, with that coaching staff, didn't know how to develop their young talent very well. It didn't get them ready to be ready. So I don't take much from that. Really like Wes. I think he's going to be good. I don't know much about the Sheriff thing. I expect him to be out there. I don't think that's going to be a problem. The whole thing about Charles maybe being a guard. Look, we all know it's been known since Shanahan's been here. Redskins like versatile people on the offensive line, and you kind of have to in this league. You don't have that many spots, and most people want to keep those spots for skilled players and guys who can make plays, whether it's defensively or offensively. So you don't really keep too many offensive linemen. So you want to have those guys you have on the roster. If a guy goes down, they're not, hamstrung because they're only strictly a center or strictly a guard or strictly a tackle. Those guys can, not saying they're going to be excellent at that, but if they have to move an unnatural position, but at least they have the versatility to do so, and you don't fall apart because of it. Charles has that ability. I expect him to play tackle. We don't know what we have in Christian. So, it's a good pick. I like his size. I like his physicality. Consistency, I would like to see more, but when one thing I did notice playing at LSU is that he rarely got beat coming around the edge. He does a really good job of extending those arms and not allowing that defensive guy to get up in your personal space. We know when a guy gets that close, a lot of times he more than likely has most of the leverage he needs. They're going to knock you off your feet and knock you to the ground, or you're in a heck of a backpedaling mode trying to gain your footing and not find yourself on your backside, and usually you get pushed back into the quarterback. He's done a good job with that. I'd like to see him more consistent, with a little bit more fire as far as firing off the ball and run situations. Again, I have confidence in his coaching another talented, versatile offensive lineman that can contribute right away. I know there are some character issues, and that is what it is. But the bottom line is you have a coaching staff that can kind of nurture that and make sure that this guy's on the right path. I think you got a lot of guys in that locker room that are going to hold him accountable. His former teammate is there, and Darius guys. A lot of those guys will take him under a wing. And you also have Adrian Peterson as well. So it's a lot of guys you got to answer to, and you don't want to go in there making a whole bunch of mistakes and bringing bad pub to the team when they're trying to change the culture. And I think you got a lot of people in that locker room that see to it that young man be on the straight and narrow and be a model citizen and a good example, donning the burgundy and gold.
Hey, sounds good. Thanks for that insight, because a lot of stuff I did not know. I couldn't find that out by watching tape. But definitely, character is a very, very big key, especially moving forward with a new coach and trying to change the culture. So all we can do is just wait and see how that goes. With the next pick, another fourth-round pick, they drafted Antonio Gady-Golden, wide receiver out of Liberty, 6'4", 223. And from what I saw, this dude is athletic, great hands, uses his body great with his body position, boxing folks out. Said he was a gymnast first, so he definitely has great body control and has, I guess you can say, poise in his route running, because he ran some impressive routes. He has deceptive speed, for that size. When he's running, he doesn't look that fast, but you see everybody else trailing him, then he got another gear that you don't expect. But the size is what I like the most, and have him on the opposite side of McLaurin and some of these other threats that we are putting together. It's definitely going to be interesting with Sims, Harmon, Golden, Gibson. This offense is getting some youth and some speed, things that we've been asking for a long time, and we finally got a good dose of it. What is your take on this? As everyone called a sleeper pick for the Redskins, that's definitely going to exceed his fourth-round draft status.
So I thought you were talking about Gady-Golden earlier. You were talking about Gibson earlier.
Yeah, Gibson. Yeah.
With that.
Okay.
Let me back up with that. With Gibson, this is an interesting story. First of all, let's be clear. He's a wide receiver first. I'm tired of the running back deal and why they get a running back. He's a wide receiver first. So understand this story. At Memphis, they used him in a couple gadget plays at running back, and they saw that this kid has vision like a running back. Obviously, he has speed. Okay, so he began to have success. So he started getting more carries than the actual starter. When he came to the Senior Bowl, he was listed as a wide receiver, although he was getting work with both the wide receiver and the running back group. Vaughn decided that he was, and I know people say he backed out, but he did not attend. I'm not going to say he backed out or quit. He just decided he was not doing the Senior Bowl, left the vacancy at running back, and they decided to put him at running back for the Senior Bowl game. Dude was unbelievable. I mean, the vision for a wide receiver playing running back is just absurd. There was a lot of instances just in the first half. He was averaging 6.3 yards per carry. It was 1 foot in the ground and go. He makes guys miss, and again, he is a weapon. Period. Don't box him in to being a running back or wide receiver. This guy is a weapon. He can be a kick returner as well. But I think, a lot of people have likened him to McCaffrey. I just think he's a Chris Thompson, all jacked up on nitromethane. I mean, he's absolutely just a Swiss Army knife. They can do a lot of things with him, generating and creating mismatches just because of his speed, his elusiveness, his twitch. It's just, I don't know what else to say. didn't like it, but a lot of people don't pay attention to Memphis. First off, second of all, you really have to pay attention to them, and then of course, being at the Senior Bowl, really, you really got to see it up close. And I love that guy. And I'll reiterate what I said. We'll go to Antonio Gady-Golden, and again, same thing I said earlier about him. He was able to catch a couple balls. The one catch in the corner of the end zone guy, tall guy, does a great job of running routes. I know people talk about his acceleration, but he does have really good game speed. Understands where he needs to be. He does very good in sitting down in soft zones. I want to see what he can do against some of your top tier corners. He can do and win consistently. If he can develop the consistency, I think you got a plus in that guy. Again, I think it is a steal. This guy could have gone up, a lot further than where he was picked. And the Redskins have now, they got two legit weapons to go along with that receiving core. It's going to be interesting, man. I'm really excited to see what they come up with, and if these guys make the cut, on the roster on the final. I'm really interested to see what they try to draw up in the sand to get these guys to open space and give them the ball. It's going to be fun to watch just from that standpoint.
I totally agree with you on that. I can't wait. Like I said, they've had a lot of speed, a lot of elusiveness, and open space talent that can make people miss and take it to the house. So I can't wait to see what this offense is going to do with Scott Turner calling the plays. So it's going to be very interesting. With the 5th round pick that they got for Trent Williams, they drafted Keith Ishmael, center out of San Diego State, 6'3", 309. I watched a little bit of tape on him. It's hard to judge a center or whatever, but I saw that he's versatile, as you mentioned earlier, about Charles and about how the Redskins like it. He can play center and play guard. He looked solid because one of the harder positions on the line is center because you're snapping the ball and you got a man immediately on you as soon as you snap the ball, and you have to use proper technique a majority of the time, because if you don't, your quarterback going to get blown up every time. So there's been a lot of talk. We talked about the offensive line on Saturday, about some of the flux that's going on with the right side is pretty set up, left side with question marks at tackle and guard. What's going to happen. What did you think about this pick? And do you think that he could crack the lineup with his size, or do you think that he's just, that Chase Roulier is in pretty good position?
I think you go with Chase. Unless he takes a step back, I think you go with Chase. But this is the guy that you need to have a good backup. You need to have a solid backup, and I think he can do that. He moves good, very good laterally. He climbs to the second level and can pluck off linebackers that are flowing. I like that. His small IQ is great. He takes very good angles. He consistently wins, on reps with his first step. There's a few things that I like. He does have good hands. He doesn't have long arms. So those two gap nose tackles probably going to give him a little trouble. But because of his quick first step, he has very good punching power. So I think that's going to make up for his not having his arm length. But he's a guy who can move guys. And he plays well. He's consistent, and that's what you want. You see a lot of the running plays on the tape. I thought he did very well of being physical, getting his guy before he gets his opponent gets him, moving him out of the way, and allowing that running lane to open up. He's flexible. He is very flexible. He has clean movements in his lower half. The footwork is where you need it to be so you can have success. Could he crack? Maybe. But I think it's Chase Roulier unless he takes a step back. But at least you have a guy that Chase gets hurt that can step in and have some success. So, as it's all about coaching guys up. All the intangibles are there. It's going to be up to the coaching staff to get them ready.
No doubt. Well, actually what we spoke about was Chase Royer possibly moving to the left guard, making room for Kirschenbacher to play center. That's some of the stuff we were talking about, because they love Chase at center, but with the flex at left guard, they were thinking about moving him to left guard and letting Kirschenbacher, who they drafted last year, take a shot at the center, which is, like I say, flexibility, versatility. They're going to have a lot of opportunity to see where they shine at, because they're going to be moving these guys around. So that was the thought process with Chase, not saying that he would regress, but him moving to the left guard spot with Eric Flowers departing.
Okay, yeah, okay. Now I understand what you're saying. And, anything is possible. I'm sure they're going to try out many combinations with the guys they have, because, again, this is a new coaching staff. So they want to see what the best combination is, and they'll do that. They're going to test that anyway, because they have to know, just in case somebody gets hurt. I don't think that's a bad move, but I really like Royer in the middle. If you want to get Ross out there, you want to get Chris Walker out there, then I don't mind that move either. But if you've got Sheriff, then, all these guys are personal. So I think we'll just have to wait and see what Rivera and company decide as far as what their combination is going to be, and what will be the best combination to protect Dwayne back there. So, and that's going to produce success. So I think that's what I'll say on that. But I don't, I'm not going to say that that's not a good idea, because obviously you want the best lineup that you can have that's going to give you the best opportunity to have success offense.
No doubt, especially because you have a coach that's going to stick with the run. So you got to have those run blocking guys, and that's the best combination out there. So, like I said, I don't have an issue with this draft with the players that they picked up, because I understand what needed to be done. And like you say, some fans don't see that and just take the media spin and go with it. Next pick, 5th round pick that they acquired for Quentin Dunbar to Seattle. Kaliki Hudson, linebacker out of Michigan, 5'11", 224. Not your typical size, because he looked like he was more of an edge DN linebacker. Not your typical size. Great first step. He with him being a little bit smaller in stature, he dipped that shoulder and he can hit that corner on these tackles that stand up high, and 6'1", 6'2" guys. I saw him several times be able to dip that shoulder and get around the edge and get to the quarterback. He looked solid in run defense when he did have to when the running back bounced outside or he had inside penetration. He wrapped up solidly. I saw him on special teams. He blocked several punts in different games and momentum shift. Looked like he's a solid tackler. Like I said, when he got his hands on him, even if it was just one hand, the guy went down. I didn't see a lot of broken tackles. And like I said, he's just a small stature guy. I'm not sure where he would fit in with this defense, if they would put him at linebacker or put him at DN with the 4-3 conversion. But what is your take of this pick, and what do you think about this kid?
I think it's good. He's probably going to play a lot of special teams. To me, he's a large box safety. Yeah, I didn't like it with the Atlantic College thing, but he really is. When you look at the tape, he's down inside. He helped out a lot stopping the run. What you do like about him is his numbers. I mean, the dude had like 101 tackles last season. He had 3 for a loss. So if you watch his highlights, you watch the tape, man, it's like this guy's making tackles. It's about finding a fit. He could be a guy who can rush off the edge. I kind of like him as a possible hybrid, maybe a corner. Obviously, they had him listed as safety, but I see him somewhere down in the box. Not that great in covering one-on-one, but his tackling skills are phenomenal. And he's right down the hill. I'm sure you saw that as well. You saw a lot of those screen plays, a lot of wide receiver screen type plays. He just comes right downhill. Once he reads and recognizes the play, he reacts very quickly, gets downhill, makes short tackles. And I think that's what sort of looking at is his ability to tackle. He may not always win, and kind of shutting guys down and being able to stop them in their tracks and take them backwards. But if you come into his line of sight, he's taking you down. There is no breaking through tackle. So I can see him playing special teams and obviously contributing. Obviously he's not going to start, but he's a guy that can help you out. Special teams wise, and if you need him to come in and you have some situational things you like to see him do, he can do that. Especially in goal line, third short type situations where it may be more inept to run the football. This guy's going to step in when need be. He's going to make some sure tackle in those situations. So, it was a good pick, and you got to have those guys. I know people, want to try to get guys who can start, and with everything, but you got to think about your special teams. Your special teams has to be special, not special ed. And, he's going to be a good contribution to help the team continue to trend upward with special teams and be a staple there, hopefully.
Yes, sir. We've seen special teams not be special with this team for a while. We saw some improvement, at the end of last year. Well, last year didn't have too many debacles, had a couple of, miscues here and there. But it was, a decent squad. You got Trent, the team's MVP, kicking the hell out of the ball every time. And Dustin Hopkins did a pretty decent job kicking the ball, field goal wise. So, the special teams is definitely a key. You want them to be able to help put you over the top and help you win some games and at the cost of the games. So we've seen that happen here before. 7th round, no 6th round pick, as I mentioned. 7th round pick, safety out of Arkansas, Cameron Curl. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep on wanting to call him Kareem. Just the way his name is spelled, kind of funny. But 6'1", 206. As I mentioned earlier, listing him as a strong safety. But a lot of the highlights that I saw, he was covering around in coverage. When he gets a beat on the ball, he did make some quality interceptions. He has good length, and he deflects the ball very well. When he's in the box, he's very aggressive, and he's definitely a good tackler. When he, as he mentioned about Galiki Hudson in the previous breakdown, when he recognizes the play, he's full steam ahead. I didn't see any hesitation once he recognized it. He's like a bullet, and he's definitely intriguing. And if he can, we talked about versatility and how the offense wants to be versatile. We also say the same thing about the defense, being able to have interchangeable pieces, not being able to tip your hand on what you're doing when you have safeties that can play linebacker and linebackers that can cover. So this is an intriguing pick. I can't wait to get your breakdown, but I like what I saw from this kid. What's the 411 on this kid, this SEC kid that you probably got some nuggets and jewels that we don't even know about?
He played corner, and they have him. I know, some of my guys that draft network, they even had him listed as corner as well. There's a lot to like. There's a lot that he's going to need to work on. He, as you stated, God plays well and knows where he needs to be when he needs to be there. For the most part, he has the speed that you need to cover, whether you want him at safety or you want him at corner. What I'd like to see from him is he's got to do a little better job when he's alone on an island. He can make some false steps and allow the ball carrier to flip and carry across his face. And when you got a guy and you've got him and you got the bullseye on him, you want to finish. And I'd like to see that a little bit better from him. But again, with his skills, and then you look at the talent around him, and I've said this time and time again every time I come on this show, and I know Redskins fans don't like me talking about Cowboys, but they have the blueprint over the years of having consistency on defense and not allowing their corners to get exposed very much. And I think if he had to play, he's a guy that you've got a good front seven and allows him to do what he does best. You've heard Jack Del Rio talking about guys playing facing the quarterback, not their back's turn, being able to read and react and see what's going on. That is helpful. his skills and get those already intangible guys drafted more polished. He can be a long-term solution to help you out if you would ever need it when a guy goes down at the cornerback position. So, he's not a sure shoe-in for a day one starter, but he definitely is a guy who can help out and shorten your special teams. And then as you're developing this guy and getting him more refined, when that time comes to where you make this call on him, say mid-season, he's going to be ready for you. Like you said, played SEC talent, and I'm not a person that's a bias on this. I think there's talent in every league, but in the SEC week in and week out, you see the guys who are drafted, they're playing, a tough deal every week, and guys who potentially could be drafted high every week. So, I think it's a plus for the Redskins, and it adds another body at corner and gives you a player that you hope that develops into something that can be with you long term and can contribute to the whole entire makeup of this football team.
Very true, very true. Only drawback I saw from when watching tape was that sometimes he can be a little over aggressive, and I have to definitely clean that up because some of those hits and some of those after the whistle things were definitely getting flagged for a 15-yard penalty in the league. So he's young. Work with him. I think he definitely could be an attribute to his team, knowing that he played corner also, which makes it even more intangible for him to possibly play free safety and, like I say, corner if need be. But I definitely like that versatility, and I did like his aggressiveness, but you got to know when to draw the line sometimes. And the last pick that they acquired in the Case Keenum trade, Jason Smith-Williams, defensive end, 6'4", 265 out of NC State. Had some injury concerns. He looked good at the point of attack. He being 6'4", 265, I think he's going to put on a little. He looked bulky on the field, but 265 at D end. He's going to have to put on a little bit of weight because he's, like we talked about, the 6'1", 6'2", 300-pound tackles. Be able to basically keep their hands on him. I didn't really see a lot of him being able to break away from engagement with the offensive lineman. One of the drawbacks was that his arms aren't, as long for him to get that push or that smack, to get away from the offensive lineman. He's a short tackler. When he does get his hands on the ball carrier or on the quarterback, he definitely gets him down. But it's definitely going to be a project, I believe, with the injury concerns. I'm not sure all of the history. I know DujunneaB probably fill us in, but I know a couple of the highlights I saw. He had a brace on his elbow, and I believe he had an injury last year that hindered him a little bit. But you can't never have too many defensive linemen or pass rushers. And you know me, like I said, I love defense, so I'm not complaining about him. What's your take on James Smith-Williams, DujunneaB?
Yeah, I think you hit a lot of things on the head there, Carol. First thing that stands out for him is his power. That's his best trait. He is powerful, but like you stated, struggles with trying to disengage when that offensive defender gets a hold of him. He gets in his grasp. He cannot break away from those hands. He's got to do a better job with that. But his best trait is power. He's definitely long, athletic, muscular frame. But technique isn't that great. That the inconsistency is there. And the injuries, man. That's a problem. He had 3 different season-ending injuries since 2015, and then he had the foot injury there as a senior. So that's a problem. I think it was a luxury pick. And don't get me wrong, when you're looking for a guy to add to the 4-3 defense, to be an edge rusher, get out there and provide pressure to try to be a dynamic player. He has some of the tools you'd like to see in that. But again, like you stated, he definitely has to do a better job of maybe probably putting on some more pounds. He's got to get a little bit more, a little better at disengaging from that defender, find a way to break away from their pain and be able to continue that track off the edge to get to the quarterback. And maybe it's just a little bit of physicality, the violentness that he's lacking. But once again, like I said before, he is a powerful guy. He's just going to need some work, and we'll see if he can, crack the roster, because there's a lot of edge guys on this team. And maybe he sticks on the practice squad so he can develop. But those are my two things. I don't think it was I wouldn't say it's a throwaway pick, but it's a luxury pick. It's one of those picks where you can look at that and you can say, the guy has some traits, he has some intangibles that we like. Maybe we can see and kind of kick the tires on this guy and see if he can pan out. We all know as Redskins fans, Redskins fans don't want to see a guy with injuries because of what they've dealt with over the last couple of years. I totally understand that, but it was a luxury pick, and a guy that might be able to help you out. Maybe get on the practice squad and get developed into something and stay healthy. And you hope that, but it's a seventh round pick. It's the last one in the draft, and we know how that goes. And it's no knock on him, but when you look at the other guys and you look at the roster, maybe he's on the practice squad. If he does something, if he doesn't make it, then maybe he just ends up getting cut. So who knows? But I'm not going to discredit the pick. I see what they see in him, and hopefully he'll develop. That's what the seventh round pick and those type of guys are about. That's where you round out the roster. That's where you round out your practice squad. So hopefully it works out in that regard.
No doubt. I remember saying some of the same things about Matt Ioannidis when we drafted him. He had power, didn't have the best technique. He, couldn't really get off the blocks, but we had Tom Sula here, and he made him develop into one of the top linemen in the league. Unfortunately, Tom Sula is not here. Smith Williams definitely could have learned under him. Hopefully, I don't remember the D-line coach that they have under Del Rio, but hopefully they can get some of the talent that they got out of Ioannidis to see what he's doing now. So hearing you break that down, there is hope for the kid. He can develop, like you say. You can never have too many pass rushers or defensive ends or edge rushers on a defense where you want to cause pressure. So, like I said, all in all, the 7 rounds of the draft, I feel like the team, addressed some issues and definitely improved the talent on this team and hopefully improved the culture. And we will see hopefully some more wins. Now let's get into these undrafted free agents. As I mentioned, I looked at a little bit of tape on them. I'll talk about Thaddeus Moss first, LSU, tight end, Randy Moss's son, 6'3", 249, good size, athletic. Definitely, with his dad, he got good hands. I think I saw a stat where he didn't have any drops last year at all, or for like the last 2 years. Question mark for me is blocking. I really don't have too much more to say. Like I said, I didn't really see too much blocking. I saw he's dynamic in the passing game. He can, make people miss. He has good hands and athletic, rangy, hurling over players sometimes. But like I said, my big thing is blocking. What is your take on Mr. Moss down in SEC country?
He played 1 year with LSU, and then he played another year at another college, and I don't remember that right offhand, but, I like Thaddeus. And the thing that stood out, it was North Carolina State. The thing that stood out for me is his blocking, especially in the run game. And that's another reason people are like, oh, well, they played 1 year and he had 1 good year. Well, it was North Carolina State the first year in 2016. So what do you expect? And that's no disrespect to North Carolina State, but it's not. They're no LSU. So, and we know that LSU they like to mix it up. Ed is a hard-nosed guy. They like to pound the football. They put it up too, but a lot of it was on the outside, and they hit him go to there's a difference between game speed and track speed, and some guys just got game speed. And to be critical like that, I'll throw these things out at you. Chris Cooley was not fast. He was a lumberer, actually, but he understood his positioning within the confines of the offense to get himself open. He didn't exactly break away from anyone after catch. He just wasn't that fast, but he was smart. And I think I see a lot of that in Thaddeus as well. I'll go to Jason Witten as another tight end. Understands where he needs to be within the confines of the offense and knows how to sit down in zones and get into open spaces to where his quarterback can get him the football. And that's what you saw a lot with Thaddeus, whether it was by design, he just so happened to be open after some kind of play design that leaves him open on the backside of the offense, and he's up wide open and kind of walks in, or he runs a route, finds a way with his size and ability to be in the right position versus the defensive back and get the proper leverage to have a clean catch and be able to make plays after the catch. So, especially, and I say this for anybody, whether you have a child that's trying to be wide receiver or a tight end, everybody thinks that everything is so hell-bent on speed. And that's cool. Speed is great. Speed kills. But it really does nothing for you if the receiver doesn't have an idea of how receiver or tight end, understands how he can use and manipulate a cornerback or a defensive back or a linebacker within the confines of a passing offense to get himself open, to make clean catches, uncontested catches, to be in a better position than the defender. And I think that's what's important when you're talking about any type of tight end or wide receiver. Speed, great. You can do that all day long. But if you can't work within 15 yards and get yourself open by understanding what you need to do to manipulate that corner to get the proper leverage so you can be open enough for the quarterback to find you and catch the ball, then, all that's for naught. And that's what I like about Thaddeus Moss. And again, my big proponent is blocking. We all know this kid can catch. It's blocking. And the reason why he fell is because he was injured. And he had to have, I believe he had to have some type of surgery, which obviously with this, he had some type of surgery, was healed, but people can't see him. So they can't check him out now. And this whole COVID has kind of hurt everybody, hurt some guys in that deal. And you saw several guys that, could have probably gone a little higher, but because teams couldn't visit with them and see them and check them out, they ended up falling. So I think the Redskins did an excellent job by not using a draft pick on a guy like Thaddeus Moss, not because he wasn't worth it, but because they could kind of gauge the room here and realize that nobody else is picking some of these tight ends either. I think, a guy like, I think it's Hunter Bryant, he didn't make it. I thought he would have been a great tight end for the Redskins to pick up as well. He was another one on my list that I was watching. But that wasn't a big thing in this draft. And with so much talent, it's not a knock on the guys that didn't get drafted. You don't have enough rounds to draft the amount of talent that was in this draft in all positions that could help teams. It's just a matter of doing their homework and understanding which players work well for their particular system. And I think you're going to find that Thaddeus is going to be a good addition here and probably be someone that can not only help a guy like Jeremy Sprinkle, maybe he supersedes him later on. But I really like Moss. And there's other guys that they're high on in that tight end room. I'm not saying he's the start right now, but he's definitely someone that can develop into something very special. And it's important for a tight end to be able to block, because now you can have guys like whoever it may be, J.D. McKissick, whoever it may be, he can spring guys open in the open field, not just at the line, but he makes good blocks out there on the outside in the open field as well, and springs guys. So that's important. That's how you turn those 3-yarders and 4-yarders into 8, 9, 10, 12-yarders.
quality blocker. Definitely use that, and with his size and athletic ability, we can definitely use him to add to this offense. Another undrafted free agent, Steven Montez, quarterback out of Colorado, 6'5", 235. Looked like he can buy time with his feet. I'm not going to say he's a mobile quarterback, but I've seen him elude some pass rushers. Strong arm, good size. Could get better at some of his decision making, throwing into double coverage, trying to make things happen, not taking what was there, trying to force things. But strong arm quarterback. You needed a third guy to come in to, if they do have training camp, that is. But I definitely see potential in this kid. Back up or possibly trade bait if Haskins pans out to be the player that we believe he's going to be. What is your take on Mr. Montez?
Same thing. Big word, and he was very inconsistent. You said all the things. I think he has a really good arm. He was another Senior Bowl participant. And some of those things that you said, same thing that we saw there. Tank doesn't lie. He had some really, at times made some really good throws, and at times you make those throws like, what the heck was that? Where were you going there? What were you thinking? Could he develop into a backup? Maybe. I don't know if the Redskins might be likely to keep three quarterbacks. I don't know. I know that was a sore spot for people in previous years with keeping two quarterbacks. I think it's risky keeping two quarterbacks, especially with the history, given with this team and these wild, kind of ridiculous injuries that seem to happen, phantomly, like, just things just seem to happen. Guys seem to just float out like flies. So I don't think it would be bad to keep a quarterback. You just don't know what their decision will be in the future. But a guy you can develop and see if he can be a solid backup, sure. Like you said, big arm, make some pretty good throws when necessary and when he can react on time. He's a little slow reading, especially with his first read and getting off of that. And again, inconsistent at quarterback. But again, it's the coach's job to see what they can do, and if they can get something out of him, maybe he's a guy that you can keep on your roster and have as a solid backup.
No doubt. The last two undrafted free agents, both wide receivers. Got one 6'2", 220, Isaiah Wright out of Temple. He's versatile. I seen him on the lineup at wide receiver. I seen him line up at running back. He dynamic on punt returns. With his size, like it's another one with deceptive speed. He doesn't look like he's running that fast, but when you look, the defenders aren't gaining any ground, and he's separating away from them. Like I say, versatility, speed, game breaker, got wiggle, can make you miss an open space. I start to see a trend with the players there adding to this roster on the offense. Reminds me of Kansas City. And I guess I'll go ahead and segue to let you talk about both of them. The other wide receiver, Jonathan Johnson, out of Missouri, 5'10", 180, and he reminds me from the tape that I saw, he reminds me a little bit of Tyreek Hill, where he's quick, he's small, he gets, disappears in the mix, and the ball comes out, next thing you know, he's gone down the sideline with somebody trying to catch him behind. I saw him on special teams. I saw him running the ball out of, jet sweeps and screens out the backfield where you got 2-3 defenders around him, and somehow he squeaked through there, and next thing you know, he's off to the races. So both of these guys, dynamic, can help the offense, and folks who are talking about the wide receiver core wasn't, nothing to be afraid of besides Terry McLaurin. They definitely went out and added some weapons to the offensive repertoire. What is your take on, I guess we'll give you Mr. Wright first, and you can talk about Mr. Johnson after that.
Both these guys are about competition. I like what they have, but competition is always great. Wright to me is a double move king. He does a lot. He does the double move very well. He does a good job of winning 50-50 balls. I think East-West Shrine game, you look at some of the practice film that we had an opportunity to have from there, and Guy was putting on a show on one-on-one. And so, like you said, it's just about adding weapons and about competition. I believe it's Jonathan, same thing. It's just about competition. The guy makes plays. Is very shifty. Kind of been used like Steven Sims Jr. So maybe it's a little added competition there. Who knows if he makes the roster or not? It's going to be a battle of wills and who is going to put on the best show. And the great thing is that there won't be any complacency out there in any of these skill positions because there's someone there to take your roster spot. So sure, I love Calvin Harmon and his ability. I think he's deceptive. Might not be the ultimate bad guy, but again, another guy who's a crisp route runner. The Steven Sims Jr. and the other both Sims.
Yeah, I like Sims boys.
So yeah, what we need is about competition here, and about trying to not allow these guys to be complacent. And when you have these type of guys pick up, whether it's undrafted or drafted, it puts some pressure on people. Makes people come out and give their best every day, day in and day out, because they know they got to win. They got to win. They got to win that roster spot. It's not going to be given to them. They're not shooting. So I love it. And we'll see what they can do. If we have any kind of preseason, how long it's going to be. But, some positives to that is the NBA is going to start doing their thing. So we'll see how this goes. But I like the competition. So two guys that they added that are going to bring some much-needed fisticuffs and some comp out there that's going to make them work day in and day out. So I think Redskins fans should be excited about all the talent that they brought in with that. And I believe they brought in another defensive lineman that was German.
Yeah, I was just about to mention him, man. Too much tape at all on him. His name is David Batta, defensive lineman. I could barely find his measurements. He's 6'4", 300 pounds. He was in the NFL international program, where they have guys for some of the European teams that they still have over there playing, and try to find a way to possibly make it to the NFL. And the Redskins, they say he's allocated to the Redskins, so I'm not sure what that means. Probably some contract talks or whatever. But he's 6'4", 300 pounds, and I really couldn't find any tape or any kind of write-up on him at all, just that he was in the international program.
What I do know is that they really high on his pass rushing ability. Another edge rusher, probably a little bit more refined than one of your earlier draft picks, the last draft pick.
Smith Williams.
Yeah. He's a lot more refined, probably along those lines. Does a better job from the little bit I saw. Seems to do a better job of disengaging from what the draft profile or the scouting profile came up with. So it was very, very minimal, but seems to be a bit of an edge rusher guy that will probably come in, and if he makes the roster, be another guy that Del Rio used on either end to apply significant pressure to flush that quarterback, either get him or flush him up the middle to the old Payne and Allen connection.
No doubt. I can't wait. And like you mentioned, hopefully we do have a preseason and football will go off without a hitch. But me and one of my folks was talking, the nightmare of this all is that we might lose sports for a whole year, dealing with the situation and the aftermath and folks getting better. So hopefully we can get to some football days and get back to the days of actually going out to be able to see a game and tailgate and be around other folks without having to wear masks and gloves all the time. But shoot, we didn't win an hour and a half. We didn't broke down pretty much everything Redskins related. Let the folks know where they can find you at DujunneaB before we get up out of here.
All the work is at SportsJourney.com. Check out our social media at SportsJourney.com on Instagram, and SportsJourney.com on Facebook. SportsJourney.com on Facebook, SportsJourney.com on Instagram. You can find me at NotBlank21 on Twitter. It's on everything. Love talking shop with you guys. Finally, we got some draft picks to talk about, and hopefully we'll have some football. I don't think we're going to get away from the mask for a while, Carol. I think that's going to be a new wardrobe, accessory. I went out and got mine made, so I'm a little bougie. I don't want to wear the plain mask, so I went out and got some stylish ones made for myself. But hopefully, regardless of whether we have to wear those or not, hopefully we'll have the ability to be able to see some football. Will it be with fans? I don't know. But either way, we've got something to talk about for the next couple of months, and hopefully we can start getting these camps or these little things going here in the near future, so we can start having some more things to talk about. But it sure was nice to have the draft and have something to take our minds off of not having any sports here for the last several months.
No doubt, no doubt. I actually saw they said 55 million people watched the draft this weekend. I'd said it was going to break records. I can't remember say that the last viewership, but folks are feeding for sports, man. And we had something to watch. I might got to go out and get some SportsOTHP masks made, because you do make a valid point. This might be the new norm with us walking around having to wear masks on and everything. So maybe we'll get some SportsOTHP TruRadio Network masks made up and get some stuff out there. But as always, man, I appreciate you taking the time. Make sure y'all check out DujunneaB with all of his great insight and knowledge and everything from football to the NHRA racing to any and everything that we cover on this network, on this show, and that he covers doing a great job. Appreciate it, bro, man. You have a good night, and I'll talk to you later on, man.
All right, brother. You have a good night, too, and appreciate you having me on, bro.
All right, no problem. I'm going to get these technical difficulties figured out, get you the link so you can post it on your YouTube once I get all of this stuff, kinks worked out dealing with this new software. But appreciate it as always, and I'll holler at you later on, man.
All right, brother.
All right, later. All right, as always, like to appreciate him taking the time out and breaking down all of these players, being an SEC country. He gets to see most of these folks, that we're talking about, since the Redskins have been drafting SEC players for a while now, because better pedigree, better players, better systems, and we're going to bring you the best insight no matter what we do. As I mentioned, we had technical difficulties. Unfortunately, didn't get it out on Facebook or YouTube. Stay tuned. I'm going to find a way to get the link and get everything uploaded so you can check out the show live if you didn't check it out, listen to it. As always, appreciate you letting us bring you DC sports without the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. CP3 live from the lab. Stay tuned. Might be back next week with some more football talk, just because it's nothing else really to talk about sports related. But we're going to bring you the best insight, knowledge, and news you're going to get anywhere else. CP3 live from the lab, and I'm out.